Hi, welcome back to class. And this week we're going to look at stratification. And the way I have this set up is we're going to look at this from an international perspective too. So it's a little different than the book has it, although there is a section on global stratification. I want to introduce you to the idea of global sociology in this section. Because one thing that sociologists sometimes do is we expand things to a very large macro view, and we look at our relationship to the rest of the world. And so you're going to watch a video this week that shows young women fabricating blue jeans that end up in stores throughout the United States and Europe. And it gets into some detail about what these young women have to go through to make the pants that get delivered to us at a very, very low price. And so there is a very complicated network that takes place, a social network that gets us these cheap goods that we purchase and we all have in our houses. So we're going to expand our view a little bit and look at our global relationship to the world in this section. And so we're going to also step back and look at sociological theory again. And one thing is to remember is that the idea of theory, of learning about major theories, isn't to just have something that you copy. So just taking an idea and saying, well, because so-and-so says this, here's the answer. What is expected, and you're going to find that out as we go through the class, is that you look at these theorists as people who made thoughtful pivots in our way of thinking. And with that, you pivot some more. So we're going to watch a couple of videos that actually shows interviews with Dr. Hill Collins and Dr. Radhakrishnan, and they both take Marxist theory on his conflict theory and they pivot it. Dr. Collins pivots with race theory, and so she wrote a very interesting book called Black Feminist Thought, and it actually gets into the idea of intersectionality, which I will discuss later on in the class. And Dr. Radhakrishnan, she took the idea of Dr. Collins and other theorists and Marx and pivoted again with that. She's younger, so she's more modern in her theorizing than Dr. Collins, although Collins is one of the most famous sociologists who ever lived. So she's a former president of the American Sociological Association. Radhakrishnan is an up-and-coming sociologist who developed theories on looking at global stratification, and they pivoted from Marx's idea, and the thought is that you take their ideas and you end up pivoting from there and getting some of your own ideas. So sociology is a living science, and the idea of studying these people and what they said is, again, not just to be able to regurgitate what they say, but it's to take those thoughts and move them around a little bit and hopefully make them your own in some way. And of course, you take those and you pivot with those thoughts, and you get a better view of our social world. So this week, we're going to start by responding to the Chapter 5 discussion threads. And again, there's 2 different threads, so you're going to have a total of 6 responses. We're going to read Chapter 6. There's 2 Dropbox assignments. One is watching the documentary China Blue and then answering some questions about that. And again, this is a documentary that gets into the making of clothes that we all have in our house. And Dropbox 2, you're going to watch the interview with Radhakrishnan and Collins, and you're gonna see their discussion. What you're gonna do is there's two videos, both full of information. They're short from the interviews, and you're going to take each one. So there's two videos. You can have two different answers. And what I want you to do is discuss a main idea from video 1, from video 2. Then there's chapter 6 discussion, which looks at cultural capital and then looks at Marx's theory. And then, of course, we have a quiz. So just going down the list here, I'll show you what we have. And there's also an interesting video. It's called Are My Hands Clean? And you click on this, and you'll have access to the YouTube video. So I want you to watch that. It's a short music video, but it gets into global sociology and the idea that, you know, we all benefit from our social network we have in place for getting our garments. So Dropbox 6.1, here's where the video China Blue is, and you're going to watch this video on globalization. There's 7 questions. The last question, I want you to use 4 different concepts from this class. You know, you can use this chapter, or if you want, you can pivot back and look at something from a prior chapter and use that to give a different concept. So I'd be happy with this if you just had maybe 4 bullet points and maybe threw in a term and maybe a sentence or 2 just describing how that term fits into the video. Here's our 2 videos with Dr. Collins and Radhakrishnan. And again, you're going to just have, you're just going to talk about your main takeaway from the first video and the main takeaway from the second video. Although those are short videos, they are very dense with information. These ladies are very, very smart, and they're probably some of the most influential sociologists that we have right now. They're both faculty, so Collins is in Maryland and Radhakrishnan is at Wellesley. And then we have our Dropbox, our discussion threads. So we're going to look at Karl Marx and alienation, then we're going to look at cultural capital, and then you have, of course, a quiz that I'll upload. So if you have any questions, make sure you go ahead and get those to me. And again, I want you to start off by watching this video. It's a short video, it's a music video, but I think it introduces you to the concepts that we cover in this section very well. So thank you. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.